Greetings and välkommen. I'm Catherine of Sky, and today we're going to talk about differences between the US and Sweden in the home. And I have many of these, so be prepared for several videos on this topic. Now let's talk about bathrooms. So bathrooms in Scandinavia are very different from the ones in America. They are constructed completely different from those in America. So first of all, the entire room is usually tiled, the entire room. And that may not be different to Americans, but usually Americans will have a hard floor. Though I had one bathroom when I was a kid, must have been a leftover from whatever era that was, the 70s or 80s, where they were carpeting bathrooms. Talk about a bad idea, man. Oh, God. And as a kid, loved to splash in the bathtub, get water everywhere. Oh, my God. It was so bad. But yeah, in Scandinavia, our entire bathroom is built very specifically so that if you were to hose down the entire room, it would all drain to a center drain. The floor is slightly angled so that it all drains to a center drain, usually the shower drain. So that means if you have a problem with the toilet, which never happens, by the way, if the toilet overflows somehow, all that water is not going to go out into your hallway. It's going to go toward the drain, which is super nice. This also means that you have a lot of options regarding your shower. Now, I hate bathtubs. I've always had bathtubs, but my experience with bathtub is like the drain always clogs in America, and like I even had plumbers come out and clear all the pipes and everything, and within 2 weeks it got clogged again. And I don't do anything weird. I just wash my hair with shampoo. I just, use soap on the rest of my body or body wash. Nothing weird going on, I promise you, but the drains keep getting clogged all the time. And so I was ankle deep in water all the time, and I hated that so much. But in Scandinavia, a lot of apartments do have showers only, which I love that. I think it's amazing. If you have kids, I understand the need for bathtubs is good, but you can find apartments with bathtubs or houses with bathtubs as well. But I love the Scandinavian shower thing because what we have here are many different ways of making this happen. So for example, since the entire room is angled toward the drain, you can put up a shower curtain, you can put up glass shower doors, or you can do some other interesting creative solution, or you can have nothing, I suppose, and just sort of angle the shower head toward the wall so it doesn't get absolutely everywhere. But I like it because for example, the apartment had glass doors, which I really don't like because they box you in and it feels really tight, especially since they're not square doors. They have a curve to them. And I always hated Airbnbs where it was just like, oh God, my body's touching these cold, ice cold doors. And I don't like it. I don't like when my body touches the shower walls at all. I know it's a weirdness, but I'm just weird. It's fine. I'm okay being weird. So I took off the doors myself and I just hung a curtain. I bought a curtain rod from IKEA, and I had actually bought a shower curtain in the US that was really pretty. It kind of goes with my style, which is like kind of a brocade with these little birds on it and stuff. And it looks absolutely amazing. Another thing we don't do in Scandinavia is have inner shower curtains. We don't hang up plastic, which I don't understand why you would do that in the US, because I remember in the US, my inner curtain constantly got black mold on it. Even in Cheyenne, it got black mold. And I'm like, I always tried to like open it up so it wouldn't bunch together, so it would dry out better. But still, it had black mold on it. And I really hated that because it's unhealthy for you. It's not good. But yeah, here we don't use them. We just, your shower curtain gets a little bit wet. Big deal. No problem. It's not a big deal. It just dries out and it's fine. So the next thing we're going to talk about is shower fixtures. The thing where the water actually comes out of. Now, I've seen a couple of these in America, but I don't think it's common. So I thought I'd mention this. In Scandinavia, and you always have this, your water comes out of a sprayer thing that has a sort of a hose, and it has a thing to hold it at head level, wherever or you can actually move it up and down if you want. but it holds it in a showering position. But you can also take it off that and spray your entire room to clean it if you want. Whereas in America, typically you just have a shower head that's screwed into the wall, and the pipes are inside the wall, so you can't really move it to any height you want. I remember there's this one place I lived. It was a cheap apartment that I had because I couldn't really afford anything better, and the shower head was below my head height. It was horrendous. And I kept like having to stoop in the shower. It was absolutely unbearable. So what I did is I bought this shower head that had a long kind of a flexible thing. So I screwed it into the thing and made it go in a gooseneck so that it would actually be above my head. And that kind of saved my sanity for that place. But yeah, it's kind of very non-versatile the way the Americans do it, because you can't adjust the height of the shower at all. Whereas in Scandinavia, this thing that has the holder, you can move it up and down a vertical bar and put it any position you want, which is really, really nice. So for example, if my mom had been living here, which was kind of the plan, but she sort of died off too soon. Anyway, she would be able to go in the shower, sit in a chair because she couldn't stand for long. She was partially paralyzed. And I could adjust that height thing to her height so that if she wanted to, she could grab it with her hand and maybe just, hose down the rest of her body. Maybe her legs wouldn't get, enough water from a sitting position. So she could actually just grab it herself and then just wash the rest of her body that way. And for myself, I could just keep it at a higher level so it would, hit my head because I would be standing up. So it's a really, really versatile system that kind of transcends ages, because, a lot of people don't move around. So they might stay in the same apartment from, when they're a young person to when they're old. You never can tell. So that is one thing that you would not have to retrofit for old age, which is really handy. Now, toilets in Scandinavia are very different from those in the United States. And the ones in the US, all I can say is that they're usually cheap crap. I'll give you an example. Well, should I tell you this much information? It might be TMI, but we'll just say that a friend of mine kept having clogs with their toilet because they had constipation a lot and never could the toilets were always overflowing, and it was bad. But then they had a little bit of extra money, and I told them, I said, oh, look at this toilet, flushes X amount of cubic water per second, whatever, and cubic feet of water, and maybe you should try that. Now, that toilet was a lot more expensive than the cheap toilets. But they said, okay, well, I'll give it a try, because I hate this problem. This is an annoying problem. Well, you know what? Imagine that. It actually worked. So even with constipation, they were able to flush that information. They were able to flush that toilet successfully 99% of the time. And I think that in Scandinavia, we just have higher quality of toilets. They don't clog. They also don't have a huge pool of water in the bottom of them. They're extremely efficient. I don't even know how they work because you can't really even open up the tank. Like, there's no little ball that you have to change every now and again or whatever. You just press the button. There's a right-hand side button, which is for pee. It's usually like less water usage, and it's kind of an environmental thing. And the left-hand side button is for poop, which is a little bit more of water volume and kind of clears the stuff. So you don't have to worry about pressing the pee button forever, for example. And it's a really, really efficient design. And I don't know why they don't have them in America, because they work so much better. They really do. So one thing that affected me when I moved to Scandinavia was towels. Now, you might not think that could be so, but trust me, let me just tell you this. So in Scandinavia, all towels, from bath towels to hand towels to kitchen towels, have loops on them. So you can hang them from little pegs. And in America, they don't. They quite simply just don't have them. And my bathroom here in my apartment doesn't have towel bars. It only has tiny little hooks, which is really annoying because it's like I have to sew loops on all of my towels from America because they're basically defective. They don't have that extra little handy thing. And this is a problem because you can't really easily change the fixtures in your bathroom. And that's the next point I want to get to, is that, and this is going to annoy a lot of American DIYers, I'm quite sure, is that when you need to do work in a bathroom, you can't do it yourself. If it has anything to do with water or walls, you are required to hire a certified plumber with what is called a wet certificate. So this is a certification that a plumber goes through to enable them to work on bathrooms and kitchens to make sure, and this is the important part, they're doing this for your protection as a consumer, to make sure that water doesn't get in the walls, because that could just devastate an entire apartment building. You know, if water is leaking from one apartment down the entire wall of the building, the whole wall could rot out if it's not made of you know, I mean, obviously we have concrete here, but if it's made out of wood or something, you could literally rot out the entire side of a wall. So anytime you need to drill the wall, drill tiles, like to put up a rack for towels, for example, or change the rack. I actually bought a rack from IKEA, but I haven't been able to install it because I need to hire one of these plumbers. And if you're changing fixtures, just to make sure there's no floods in the building, no damage to the walls, you need to hire this person with a wet certification. I kind of think it's cool because back in the day, and this was a few years ago when I lived in Houston, there were massive problems with black mold. And some of that was caused by hurricanes and water getting in the walls, but some of it was also just caused by bad plumbing or people, do-it-yourselfers, who don't know how to set fittings correctly, how to check for drips and leaks and all this other kind, and how to fix them. So that was a major problem that led the insurance companies to, like, some of them went out of business because of black mold. It was really, really bad. So anyway, I am buying myself a sewing machine so that I can sew the little loops on all of my towels now. So thank you so very much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. And if you would like to help support work on my channel, do check out that Patreon in the link in the description below. If you want to chat about any of the things, do write me a comment or come to my Discord channel and we can just talk about whatever you like. If you have any ideas for videos or want me to try certain things, just let me know by dropping a comment there or sending me an email. Either is fine. So take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time.
Vamos, vamos,